All right. What's going on? What's going on? Hello, everybody. How you doing? All right. Welcome to the Black Man Unfiltered Network. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday to everybody. Let me get my water together here. So we're going to talk about this Charlie Kirk a little bit again. It ain't going away just anytime soon. Ooh. So, hello. I'm waiting for folks to come in. Listen, I have my blood test results today. And they're saying, hey, listen, man, for a fat bastard, your blood looks pretty good. That's what they said. They put a little bit more, decorum on it, but that's what it comes out with. For a fat bastard, your blood is pretty good. Cholesterol is okay. Kidneys are working, all that kind of good stuff. What can you say? What can you say? Viva la nature. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. So I had a nice talk with the doc, and the retirement continues for now. So anyway, hello everybody. Look at the title that you have here, and as you come into the chat, say hello, and we should have some fun today. But I'm not. You know what? I don't know about fun is not the right word, right? Because I want to get something straight about what I think is going on, and I believe if you look at the title, the penalty for free speech should not be death. I'm gonna stand by that. And probably penalty might not be the right word. Maybe consequence might have been a better word than penalty, but they both work. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have some fun with this tonight in terms of conversations, and we can find out where people stand, and maybe we'll come to some kind of conclusions. I guess on what happened and why I don't think we should be in the middle of this, right? So, and I'm glad that my mic and everything is working, or else I would have been spending the last 5 minutes just talking to myself. All right. So, yes, what's going on, PMU? 100 Watts is taking care of some business, so he won't be popping in. He might be looking remotely. So I just want to let everybody know that if you're expecting to see 100 Watts, he's tied up today. And here I am doing a solo deal, talking about Charlie Kirk. All right. But before we get into anything, I know, like I said, I got to wait around because people are late bloomers in terms of coming here because 7 o'clock on the East Coast. It's 6 o'clock in mid central. It's 4 o'clock on the West Coast. Anybody out there probably still in the job, probably still working. It is what it is. You could always catch us on replay and things of that nature. So what I wanted to do was kind of give you a scope of how we're going to go through this today. First, I want to give a little bit of what I think Charlie was about. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the HBCU situation. We're going to talk about at least a couple of items that he talked about, especially when the Second Amendment and what he thought about the sacrifices for having a Second Amendment. And some people are trying to use that against him. Of course, I have a segment called Let the Women Tell It, and talking about this situation and how we should view his assassination. And then we're talking about people getting fired. A lot of people got fired. And we could discuss, whether we think that's fair or not, or whether it's hypocritical that we talk about free speech and people getting fired by exercising their free speech, right? So that's worthy of a conversation. Why can't I say anything, even if it's incendiary, and keep my job? Why not, right? That's what people will say. If we're saying he shouldn't be shot and assassinated for his words, why should I lose my job? And, so there might be worthy of discussion, and we'll see. I don't like to see anybody lose their job, but there's probably layers to that. right? So we have to go ahead and explore that part. And then I have a couple of clips where he's having an actual discussion with a couple of black students at different schools, and they're doing his regular debate. And I think there's something to be gleaned out of those dialogues, or that back and forth between the student and Charlie. I think that's something that's worth and worthy to check out. What's going on, champ? What's happening? So before we get started, I am going to do a little icebreaker that I think some of you guys might think is pretty funny. It has nothing to do with my man, at least not the first one, but I think it's funny. So while we're waiting for people to come in, I don't know, champ, if you wanted to come up, or if you're busy, just give me the high sign. I'll just drop the link or whatever in a minute. But first, let me go ahead and all right. Hey man, I appreciate that, man. You're always welcome. So let me go ahead and show this little icebreaker. I think it's funny. Everybody stay tuned for this. And let me have it up here somewhere. There it is. All right. Let's do this. Nah, that's not it. Shit. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. Yeah, it's somewhere up here. I see it. Yeah, there it is. All right. Everybody looking at this? Pay close attention. It's just pretty funny. I might let it play a couple.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You okay? Oh my God. You put a bomb in there? Maybe. Did you put a bomb in there? I had to do what I had to do. You keep stealing my packages. You were going to kill me over me stealing one of your packages. I didn't anticipate you dying. You're insane, dude. You're fucking insane. I'm insane. Isn't it crazy that you roll up on random people's porches and steal their packages?
Oh, shit.
You had 2 mechanical pencils last time I stole from you, and you were going to kill me over something as small as that? Correction, good sir. I don't have my 2 mechanical pencils because you stole them. Serves you right. You're fucking crazy, dude. You're fucking crazy. I'm calling the cops. You almost killed me, dude. Call the cops. Yeah, no. Call the cops.
We're going to let it play again.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You okay? Oh my God. Did you put a bomb in there? Maybe. Did you put a bomb in there? I had to do what I had to do. You keep stealing my packages. You were going to kill me over me stealing one of your packages. I didn't anticipate you dying. You're insane, dude. You're fucking insane. I'm insane. Isn't it crazy that you roll up on random people's porches and steal their packages? You had 2 mechanical pencils last time I stole from you, and you were going to kill me over something as small as that? Correction, good sir. I don't have my 2 mechanical pencils because you stole them. Serves you right. You're fucking crazy, dude. You're fucking crazy. I'm calling the cops. You almost killed me, dude. Call the cops. Yeah, no. Call the cops.
No, it's not about Charlie. Hey, PMU is an icebreaker, man. You just relax, man. Just relax. It's not about Charlie. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. Which is sense of humor. Anyhow, that's the next one is about Charlie, but it's a parody. I think you guys will enjoy this. And before we get into my other stuff, so here goes. Now you guys know, and I know, champ, you put out there. I know you was talking about people losing their jobs and the dichotomy about that, but I'm gonna touch upon that on this one, just briefly. All right.
You shedding your crocodile tears is not going to do anything to us. Newsflash, we do not care. Let the tally continue to increase. We're currently in the 600s, the 700s. Maybe this number needs to continuously increase the more you idiots continuously show us all how stupid you are. So keep it up.
Isn't a fundamental part of being an American that
before we go through Whoopi, 658 people lost their jobs so far, that based on his count, based on putting out, dancing on Charlie's grave. And we could probably talk about that a little later on whether that's fair or not. But okay, let's give the view some. Now check this parody.
we are able to express our opinions to each other without fear without this kind of horror happening. And it seems to be something we have been seeing more and more of. And it's not even left or right. It's just people being taken out because of their beliefs.
There's just no place for this kind of violence in this country. I am heartbroken over it. I cannot believe that someone would kill another person because they were speaking their beliefs.
Well, for years, you and your allies in the media have been conditioning half of the country against the president, his supporters, and figures like Charlie Kirk. Trump is Hitler, his supporters are fascists, right-wing extremists is danger to our democracy, they're Nazis, you know the words. Yet you seriously sit here acting surprised when lunatics who believe your words decide to take matters into their own hands. Your side burn and loot every time things don't go your way. Your side tried to assassinate the president multiple times. Your side burned Teslas all around the country and wanted Elon dead. Your side assassinated Charlie Kirk. Your side is currently celebrating it. So don't talk to me about, well, this is not a left and right issue. It is the left. It's only the left. It's ironically the Democratic side who engages in political violence and killings of figures they disagree with. And every time something like this happens, you come here, you tune down the rhetoric, crocodile tears, ooh, I can't believe this. Then a week later, you go right back at the dictator and fascist rhetoric again. So you don't really care. You're just pretending. And for that, fuck you, and you in a corner too.
Yeah, I agree with him. A lot of these people are shedding crocodile.
Of course, that's just a parody. Of course, you guys know that guy just used AI or something to do that. I thought that was pretty funny. But there's a modicum of truth in all of that. Constantly tell people to get rid of it, get rid of somebody because you don't like what they say is a slippery slope. And no matter who it comes from, that's why I'm a big advocate for the First Amendment. And having seen somebody shot because of his views, whether we like them or not, is a big ass no-no, as far as I'm concerned. No, you don't have to like Charlie Kirk. You don't. I never really watched any of his shows. I just saw a couple of his back and forth with some college students, and we're going to see some of that. But, you're not supposed to shoot. Now, listen, remember now, I lived through the 60s. I remember, and I was young, but I do remember Medgar Evers being killed. I remember John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Robert Kennedy, Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King. All of these guys were killed because of what they believed and what they said. And the country was never more shaky in the 60s than it was, in years because of that. So we can't go back to that, right? Not with the weapons as sophisticated as they are now. You really can't protect anybody. You might think you can, but anybody could be gotten. So we cannot normalize killing people because we don't like what they say. We just can't do it, or else this experiment is over. It's as simple as that. So, I mean, you don't have to like Charlie Kirk for that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about who was this guy and what did he believe in? What did he really believe in? Like I said, I wasn't a big aficionado of the guy. I didn't watch his podcasts. I didn't do any of that stuff. I knew who he was. I saw a couple of his discussions with campus students, which I thought were interesting. And I have a couple of them here that we're going to see a little later, particularly ones with Black students, just a couple of Black students. And we could dissect the back and forth because his conversations with students were usually that were unfair, kind of from the standpoint of him being a seasoned debater and these guys having, I guess, a cursory view of their viewpoints, just learning how to debate. So a lot of times they were at a disadvantage going back and forth with them, but there still was stuff to glean from where these kids' mindset were. And unfortunately, you could tell the indoctrination that was in some of these kids' minds where they weren't looking at certain things the way they should have looked at it. So again, who was Charlie Kirk, right? Let's just start. He was a husband. He was a father. He was a Christian. He was a conservative. And not only was he a conservative, he was anti-secularism, right? So he didn't just say, I'm a Christian. He used to say things against secularism. He used to say, he used to call out fuck shit, right? Not just with black people. So let's not make it about blacks, about a lot of stuff, about what was going on in the inner cities. Yeah. Was he a bigot from some people? Okay. Yeah. But some of the shit he said, we say ourselves. He didn't like the alphabet mafia, particularly, he didn't go for the transgenders. They didn't like that. Matter of fact, there's a connection to transgenderism with the guy who shot him. And the guys, I think they said he was in a love relationship with his roommate, who was supposedly a transgender. Now, I didn't see the FBI report on that, but that's like all over the internet, right? And he had a lot to say about the transgenderism. Oh, he had problems with, guess what? He had problems with secular Jews. He had problems with secular Jews. And with that, he didn't say small hats. He didn't say all of that kind of stuff. What's going on, Time? How you doing? He didn't say small hats. He actually called out secular Jews, and he used the word Jews. He didn't mince words. He didn't hide behind the fact that he was talking about Jews. He said it out loud. I saw that little clip of that. So he had a lot of smoke for a lot of people. And it didn't deter him because people didn't like it. He didn't like DEI. Well, I don't like DEI. I said that on this channel many times. And but the reason why he didn't like it is not the way I didn't like DEI. Because I had an issue with DEI because it belittled the accomplishments of black people or anybody else who got to their positions because they were being tainted with a slur that they didn't earn what they got. I took a lot of umbrage with that. If there's a lot of black people, Hispanic women, all these other people who achieve great things, and it's not fair for somebody to say they didn't get it because of merit. I think that's bullshit. And some people actually got their jobs because it was given to them. Like Kamala Harris. She was a quote unquote DEI hire, not because somebody invented that for her. It's because Joe Biden said so. He actually quoted that, I'm putting her in there. I want a woman of color. And he picked Kamala Harris. That means above everybody else, that's who he wanted. All right. So that's Charlie Kirk. He was against those kind of things. So what else didn't he like? Feminism. He had issues with feminism. Shit, I have issues with feminism. Right? He was anti-liberalism. I have problems with unfettered liberalism. I used to be, I don't think I ever was liberal from a social standpoint, the way that people use it. I definitely think liberalism is dangerous today because now they're trying to eliminate people. They're very violent. We know about that already. And so there you go. So that was Charlie Kirk. Right? So whether you like him or not, he still didn't deserve to die. And that's what I want somebody to come up here and tell me all the rhetoric that he said that he deserved to have it ended at the point of somebody's gun. I dare somebody to come up here and just tell me that, just say that because it sounds stupid, right? When you put it like that, it sounds stupid. Let me see what you say in time. Yeah. He wanted to see the Epstein stuff. I mean, listen, there was a lot of facets to people out there. Uh, uh, yeah, underrated talk and stay consistent. Well, anybody, listen, I have some more stuff that I wanted to tell you. What's next on this list? Listen, you don't have to praise Charlie Kirk, but we don't want to, say he had to. Let's talk about the HBCU situation. Right? After it came out, they had to put the HBCUs on lockdown for a day or two to actually, assess the threats against them. And so let's talk a little bit about that, right? Let's talk a little bit about that. Let me.
We continue to follow a number of stories right here on Live Now from Fox. And I did want to transition to some breaking news into our studio as 5 historically Black colleges and universities are now on alert after receiving threats. And I did want to share what each of these universities and colleges are sharing with the public right here. This is a social media post from Hampton University stating that the university has received notice of a potential threat and has ceased all non-essential activity effective immediately. They say the safety and well-being of our students, faculty, staff, and visitors remain our highest priority. All campus activities and classes are canceled today and tomorrow to include all athletic events and activities, and campus community is encouraged to conduct any meetings and remotely. So we are continuing to follow this. We also have a number of other tweets that I did want to share with you. This from Southern University and AMM College stating that this university also has received a potential threat to campus safety and is on lockdown. They say that the lockdown applies to the entire Baton Rouge landmass, which also includes Southern University Law Center, Agriculture Research and Extension Center, and the laboratory school. They say if you are on campus, you should shelter in place until further notice, as the university is working with law enforcement agencies. We also have a number of other posts that we want to get to. This is from Alabama State University, as it has now canceled campus activities today, stating that the campus will be closed for the remainder of the day. Campus police, along with other law enforcement agencies, are actively clearing all buildings on campus. Once your building.
So you guys get the, and then it went on to say maybe around up to 8 or 9 HBCUs kind of locked down. I never heard the announcement come out of Howard, by the way, but and maybe it did. I didn't catch that. So I've seen some posts. I see what you said here, Nissa. I'm gonna get to that point that you made about the things he said, and some people call it karma and all that kind of stuff. But you could be the judge of that on your own. However, the point he made still remains, and we're going to talk about that. So if you're still around when I get to it, it's next, by the way. But let's talk about what I think about the HBCUs and why they became under siege. Because, and this is one of my big pet peeves with all you Black folks out there. We have this need to be in the middle of everything. Why do we have to be in the middle of every goddamn thing? He was on a white campus. Everybody knew by then that it was a white guy who shot him, and he's a white man himself. Now, he said a few incendiary things or racist things, whatever, about Black people, but he also said the same incendiary things about a lot of other people as well. So, okay. So when I saw a couple of posts where they say, well, we didn't have anything to do with him killing, but like white people always do, they like to blame everything on us. Yeah, if you have a victim mentality and you've been trained to think that all white people think about is fucking you over, I could see you saying that. And that's what people were saying. And now it's just pure bullshit. And white people, white people knew we didn't kill him. They knew it. You know why? You know why they put the HBCUs on lockdown? Because when the white folks went on the internet, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever wherever they went to get more information on the assassination, they saw you black people dancing and jumping up and down with joyful glee that the person that they loved was dead. That's what they saw. They saw y'all dancing on his grave that wasn't even dug yet. And so they said, man, it has nothing to do with us, but all of a sudden we're in the middle of it, rejoicing that this guy who said a couple of bad words about black people is dead. So we're going to dance just like you did Kevin Samuels. Just like y'all did anybody who says anything y'all don't like. Just dance on his grave. And so what they said, well, how do we get back at these black people? How do we get back at them? Well, let's threaten what they love. Let's threaten their HBCUs. So all you jigaboos out there, you godless people out there talking about, I'm glad that this guy got assassinated. You put your sons and your daughters at risk because you wanted 5 minutes of fame on how happy you are that this guy was dead. That's why. That's why. You inserted yourself in the middle of stuff. You didn't have nothing to do. We could have just shut up and use whatever Christian faith we have left to say, you know what, this is a horrible thing that happened. And just left it at that, regardless of how we felt about it. No, but instead, we had to dance and do the jigaboo dance, and all the fans out. That's why. Put your sons and daughters in jeopardy because of your idiosyncrasy. So that's my theory. And I think that's much more plausible than the bullshit that they said, oh, yeah, a white guy killed him, but it's black people's fault. That's bullshit. Oh, man, listen. Okay, Anissa, now you're being disingenuous. It's all over the place. You go look it up. I don't have to do that. They're firing people all left and right. A lot of those people are black, by the way, because of that. Because of being idiots. So there you have it. Now, I don't have to go prove that to you. That's what's going on. So yeah, that's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. So I don't know, BMU, if you said this guy was going to come over here, he's calling everybody coons and all that kind of shit. Where is he? Right. Yeah, freedom of speech. Yeah, but it doesn't apply to other people. No. Yeah, listen, we're going to talk about that, Anissa. It does apply to other people. But, freedom of speech does apply, but there's not an equivalency with an assassination and losing a job. And because losing a job has more to do with the people who employ you than it has to what you said. And we got a case in point, right? Let me just say this case in point. The people from Office Depot, the two ladies from Office Depot who refused to print out the visual stuff for a customer, they got fired, not because they put Office Depot, they spoke for Office Depot. Now, here's the difference. If they were the private owners, if they own that print shop, if they owned it, and decided that they don't want to print those things, I think they would have had a better case. Because I believe the people who didn't want to make the gay cake, I think they won because that was their private shop. Right? So they weren't working for anybody. That was their shop. And they said, listen, I'm not making a gay cake. And I think they won their court case, if I'm not mistaken. So those two idiots who decided not to, what's going on, champ? Who decided not to print those papers, if they own that shop, I think they would have had a case. So that would be the equivalency, right? So a lot of people got fired because they're not their own boss. They're representing other people. Now, you're right. It's not right. But you know what? If I work for the Department of Defense and I'm a captain or a general and I put out some shit like that, I got code of conduct, you know, and I'm answering to somebody else. If I embarrass my boss, they're gonna come down on me, and rightfully so. Like you said, that's consequence. There is consequence to free speech, so we can't deny that. Does it seem like there's a dichotomy going on because he got assassinated for his free speech, as opposed to somebody losing their job? And that only works if they're the ones who own the business. If they own the business and they got in trouble for that, I think that would be different. But they don't own the business. What's up, Jim? What's that?
What's good, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I saw you did a stream on this. Well, you know, I didn't see it all. I know you touched upon it.
Well, I did a reaction to it today, but
Okay.
it was more about the people losing their jobs and how cancel culture now has shifted as far as as far as like with the conservatives like not liking cancel culture when it's like the Dems doing it or the liberals doing it and stuff like that. But now it's like, oh, like, yeah, well, let's find all these people to help them lose their jobs. Like,
I got
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
I got some shit on that too, man. But I don't.
yeah.
But let me ask you. Let's look at the equivalency that we're trying to say. They were canceling if I misgendered somebody and I got canceled or something like that, or I lost the job because I refused to call, a flurry, a flurry and shit. I guess you could say is that.
No,
Listen, the reason why the people are losing their jobs is because they're representing, right? They're representing some other people. Charlie Kirk, I mean, obviously a lot of white people love this guy. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people underestimate how many white people like this guy. So doesn't it depend on where everybody hasn't lost their job, by the way, because of what they said about Charlie Kirk. But don't you think it
no.
depends? Don't you think it depends on what kind of job you have? You're a military man. If you come out in the military, the code of conduct there puts you in more danger than, I don't know, a teacher
I mean, but
or
yeah, in that case, I would expect it more for you know, a command, somebody in command, somebody in the military, somebody talking out against the president, somebody talking out against, the leader of the house or something like that. You know what I mean? But and I do think that all military members should have some decorum, especially when you're getting paid to protect our nation, our people, our citizens, and things like that. So you definitely should have some decorum. I think a lot of military members were kind of pushed back, appalled a little bit from at least from people that I have spoke to so far that because I live in a military community,
right,
so
right, right.
um they were appalled that a regular civilian, even though he was, instrumental in helping like young conservatives come over and, come out and be able to speak out and be boisterous and vote for Trump and do these things without being, like unapologetically, right? They were like, there's veterans that pass away every day. They don't get picked up on Air Force Two. They don't get picked up on Air Force One. Soldiers aren't carrying them and things like that. And so a lot of soldiers were a little like taken aback from that because that's like the one of the first times in my lifetime that I ever seen like a regular person, even a civilian. He was not no politician or nothing like that, and he got picked up by Air Force Two. You know what I'm
Well, let me.
saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. Listen. I mean, there's a case to be said that he got special treatment, but there's also a case to be said that people took him out because he wasn't beholden on anybody. He was able to say the shit that he said because he didn't work for anybody but himself.
Hmm.
Right? They couldn't really counsel him. Right? He couldn't be canceled, and the only way these guys felt that they cancel him was by taking him out. Now, as far as the military and all that kind of stuff, There's no real rule against it, right? We're talking
I mean,
about
but it's
precedent. We're talking
just
about precedent, right?
yeah, but it's just something that you never seen before. Like for a
Well, I
regular
mean,
civ I mean
but there's
for
not. But it's no. You're right. But you're talking about precedent.
right. And so
I mean,
yeah,
there's nothing in there that
I'm
says
just
they
saying
can't do that.
from right. I'm just saying from like from feedback that
Okay,
I've
well,
heard
yeah.
back. And they just were like, a lot of service members and veterans were like thrown off because they were like, you know, yeah, he was speaking out, he was helping politically and things like that, but you know what I'm saying, to get that type of treatment, to have soldiers carrying you off of Air Force Two picking you up and all that, they
Yeah.
just felt like that was a little bit overboard. Um
Well,
and
let
then
me ask you, what's the political leanings of those people though, who are saying that?
I mean, where I live at, most of these people are conservative. Like most of these people are, but these are.
Okay,
It's different when it's
okay.
coming from veterans, though. Like you know what I mean? Because you're
No,
gonna get,
but
yeah,
veterans have political leanings. No,
yeah. I know. I'm just saying, like they weren't coming from it from a political standpoint. They were just
I
coming from it
understand.
from an aspect of like
So
this
what
ain't
would you
normal.
say to what do you say to BMU when he says why does it matter?
I just think it matters because, veterans, in an aspect, at least the ones that I spoke to so far, they just felt like, what I'm saying? Like, they just felt like, why this person out of everybody in the world,
But
why?
that's easy though,
y-
because of his
That's,
popularity. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's the answer.
like,
That's
yeah.
really the answer.
Yeah, I know. I know, but that's what I'm saying. But that's kind of what the question was. Like, so, like, just because you popular means that you can get this type of treatment. When veterans don't even get that type of treatment, and so that's what they were. That's so
Yeah, no,
they.
I understand that, but it's because it's popularity. But all popularity obviously is not the same, right? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's.
You
I
want to
mean,
say something, BMU?
Yeah,
that's true.
the reason I said why does it matter is simply because can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
Yeah, we hear you.
The reason I said why does it matter? So fucking what? If Air Force Two picked them up, it doesn't matter. I feel like this. If we're gonna get deep like that, I don't think the president should have a funeral like that. Then they don't do nothing but sit in the office and direct other motherfuckers to go out to the field and die.
I mean, yeah,
Let's
that.
be
I
real.
mean,
Jimmy Carter shouldn't have a funeral. He shouldn't have had the funeral he had. All these other
but
Ronald Reagan, all these motherfuckers, they ain't go out on the battlefield and fight nobody and kill nobody.
right, but that's that's what our Payne was talking about. Like that's precedence. That's normal for our country. Like that's something normal that you see for politicians, for government officials and things like that. For you see this for police officers. Police officers, they have the big procession, or you see like the firemen, the first responders. You see them having this big, and that doesn't mean that he wouldn't have had that. They were just talking about the aspect of like
Yeah,
like damn,
yeah,
like this, like so if you go debate college kids and become popular, like that this is the kind of
I think
treatment that you would get rather than like
this is
actual
what we're
veterans
missing,
who
though.
served in the country.
No, I think no, because you're comparing him to veterans.
Yeah,
You're just
because I'm talking about veterans though.
What I'm saying
That's
is
what I'm saying.
that, but that's not necessarily where the equivalency stopped. We're trying to say since he wasn't a veteran, he couldn't be a great man to people.
No,
That's not true. Well, hold
that's
on,
not
hold on. Let me
who said that.
wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Before you go, let me finish what I'm gonna say. The reason why he got this is because of what he meant to so many people in America. That's why he got that treatment, whether he was a veteran or not. So if it's no code saying you can't do the things you can do just for a regular citizen, like the Medal of Freedom, right? Isn't that a medal you give to a citizen? Right? I believe that's something that I think that might be a medal you can give to a citizen who does something. So they're saying his contributions at 31 years old and his closeness to the president merit him that kind of treatment. And that's not to slap veterans in the face. Because every veteran who dies, who makes that sacrifice, is, of course, it's not going to get that kind of treatment. Right? It's not in, so it's not in lieu of the veteran. It's just, that's what he meant. I mean, we're talking about tens and tens of millions of people like this guy. I mean, you know, that's why they did it. I mean, I think we could read stuff into it, and the veterans who didn't like it, they have a right not to like it. They have a right not. They have a right not to like it. I mean, but
That's all I was saying. That's it.
yeah,
Just
okay.
that some vets that I talked to, they had a problem with it because they just felt like that was kind of out of pocket.
Well,
But they
you know, yeah, okay,
but it's cool. I mean, it's just just like the people who don't care about it, whatever the case may be, they have the right to their opinion for it. You know what I'm
right,
saying? I like
right,
I feel like the vets who had a problem with it, they have a right to their opinion too.
right. And you know, and this is where the consequence comes in, right? We have a right to free speech. He paid the ultimate price for it. And the people who are getting fired, they have a right to free speech too. But there's some of those people faced consequences they weren't thinking about. Like if my financial life rested upon me just keeping my mouth shut or taking a chance, because I work for the military, I wouldn't say shit. I told, I didn't need to, but I told my daughters and shit. I said, listen, once on social media, not a lot. I said, just make sure you don't say no stupid shit about this whole Charlie Kirk stuff.
Yeah.
Just whatever you feel, just keep it in.
Hey,
Because
Payne, hold up.
Yeah.
My bad. I don't mean to interrupt you. Hey,
Yeah,
BMU, man. Where your black ass at anyway, man? I ain't seen you in a while, brother.
Hey, you know what though? Our Payne, one of the things I think that we make a mistake of as parents is that we that we shut our kids up.
Shut them up.
Yeah, let me tell you what my grandmother told me. My grandmother said during the civil rights movement,
right,
there were children who, under their own fruition, 13, 12 years old, who all of them left the school together to protest for black rights. And it was out in them streets just like the adults was. Right. But I'm saying what we do as parents is shut up, don't say nothing. You got anything to say? Be quiet. What they voice
that's absolutely not true. That's what I said. If my kids were still home and they were like young, they could say whatever they want. I'm not gonna encourage my daughter who has a job to put that shit in jeopardy to say some shit over this fucking incident. This has nothing to do with black people.
My coworker was saying something about that today. She's Caucasian.
Yeah, man. Are you kidding me?
She said she told her son, not to don't go online and discussing this issue as far as
right,
saying bad stuff in public and all that. But
BMU, I hear where you're coming from, but this ain't that issue. This ain't it.
And right, and then I'll say this too. A lot of things that we didn't agree with. I'm setting up over here so I can get on camera with y'all. A lot of things that we didn't agree with. A lot of things that Charlie may have said that we didn't agree with, right? But and I love Anissa to death. But I think in 1 month of his life, Charlie may have done more in 30 days than Anissa has done in her whole life to stand for something, bro. He did not lie. And motherfuckers at my job today was showing me videos of him talking about black culture. He said, in the hood, black people are living and becoming the rappers, and they doing all the violent shit the rappers say they're going to do. Is that not the truth?
Too much of it is.
True.
Too much of it is. I can tell you that. But listen, man. But that's not just. Black. First of all, black people don't like to hear nobody. We don't even like to say that. We say that shit, but we don't want nobody else to say. Some of the shit that he said, we say all the time on these panels.
Yeah,
Payne, we say it all the time. But
Payne, just to reiterate that, man, I agree. Because I was hearing some people say that black people shouldn't police white people. And so, but that was coming from white people saying that we shouldn't police white people. So then it's like, well, he was telling black people this and that. And so you know that black people are gonna feel the same, like, why are you policing
Wait a
us?
minute, though. We police white people all the time.
I know. I'm saying that people say that on both sides. So I'm saying I agree with you. I'm saying that people
Okay,
say
and
that
we
on both
ignore it.
sides.
We ignore it on a regular basis.
I think people do, like, on both sides of
You
that,
know,
man. I
I
mean,
don't. I think
if you're not in those rooms, if you're not in those
we're talking about
if I'm
public.
saying it, yeah, but I'm saying if you're not on those podcasts, you're not, on,
Oh no,
like, you
no,
don't,
I've seen. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I hear
you're
you.
not,
I hear
yeah,
you. I hear you.
you're not gonna be around it like that, or you're not gonna be, it's not gonna be as prevalent to you as it is to us, because we had these conversations like this.
Well, listen. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So again, the reason why the impact of what he said is more than just a usual guy is because of his reach, right? It's really a reach issue. His reach was big, right? That's why they had an issue with Andrew Tate. Whatever you think he's an asshole, he had a reach that they didn't like, right? So if you have this reach, I mean, if all the people in the '60s who got assassinated had a reach that regular people didn't have, right? And so once you get to that point, a person says there's no sense arguing with you because they can't beat you even if they have a point because their message isn't as penetrating. So he penetrated, but when you see his campus conversations were actually very benign. They were, I mean, and that's where I know him from. I said, well, I have a couple on this thing. We can see one of them. But here's where this came from, that maybe they say, this is where people say it was karma. I want to show you, I want to just show this one. Where people say, it's karma, blah, blah, blah. Where is that?
Anybody that tells the truth, they want them dead. And it doesn't matter if you're a black man. It's all about masculinity here. Let's start. If it was a sissy up there talking about wearing wigs and pulling his dick out for kindergartners and reading books, it wouldn't be a goddamn problem. But since it's not a sissy, Kevin Samuels told the truth. When he died, they danced on his grave. They danced on his grave. Anybody, Martin Luther King, they talk about, oh, Martin Luther King, the black people love Martin Luther King. Oh, they do not. No, they did not like Martin Luther King because they felt like Martin Luther King was bringing too much pressure to the black neighborhoods, and they thought the white people was hunting them down. And also, if we go back, if we really think about it, when Martin Luther King did a speech one night, who stabbed him in the chest? Was it a white man, white woman? It was a black woman who stabbed him in the chest with a letter opener and almost killed him.
Remember that.
All right, and then we can even go further than that. Payne, who after Martin Luther King passed away, they took out his whole family. His mom was sitting at the organ playing the organ at church. A black man walked behind her as she was playing and blew her fucking brains out while she was playing. A black man did it, not no white man. A black man. If we look at the Black Panther Party, it wasn't no white man that went in there and said, "Oh, we're gonna go in here and just kill him." It was his own homeboy. The nigga did it.
Yeah.
Come on, anybody that tell the truth, your own kind will be the first motherfuckers to drag your ass. And I'm tired of hearing it, like JBJ bitch ass. I hope you hear me. I'm coming, JBJ. I see you did a live on me, nigga. I called you out and I called your phone and you ain't answer. So I know you a bitch. So I know you ain't gonna come up here and say nothing. You gonna make me the old black man on filter gonna come out, bro. Bring your bitch out. You want to sit over there and talk about everybody in their family? Want to talk about our Payne, me, JT? All right, well, come on up. I sent you the link, nigga. I'm gonna calm down. Trey here. I'm calm down. Go ahead, Trey. They're gonna make the old BMU come out, man.
Okay, Trey, what you got, man? How you doing, man? I don't know how long you
hold on, I ain't done yet. Listen.
Oh, okay.
I got one more thing, bro. I'm telling you, bro. This is what I told the people that work today, and they can't go to HR because y'all started an HR-related conversation. So I'm just gonna blend in with you niggas. I said, all y'all talking about this whole Charlie Kirk situation when Kevin Samuels died, y'all talked about that. We've been here for years talking about the same shit. I say, but I ain't never heard one of you motherfuckers talk about the motherfucking trans niggas with their dicks hanging out, with their dicks on kindergartners' foreheads, reading books to them, Jungle Book with their dick out. I ain't heard it. I ain't seen it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell Mr. Bennett. R. Payne and Mr. Bennett, Y'all got some goddamn explaining to do. New Jersey just passed a law where you can name the sex of your child before it's born. If it's a boy and you want to be a girl, they will put girl on the birth certificate. They will put girl on everything. Before y'all got some explaining to do. All right, Payne. I saw it on the news yesterday. Y'all got some goddamn explaining to do.
I didn't hear that shit. But you know what, man? The red guy, the Republican, is catching up to Jackie Sherrill, man. And he's coming out, man, saying, I'm going to get rid of all of this shit, man. He's trying to take a page out of Trump's book. And guess what? He got my vote like a motherfucker, man. Ain't no doubt about it. I don't care. I'm not voting for him, man.
A black man, are you surprised? New Jersey's a shithole.
Oh well, hey.
We talking about New Jersey and shit. That's what my wife.
Hey man, Trey.
I lived there for 2 years. It is a shithole.
It is that.
There's literally outside of Atlantic City. There's literally nothing there.
Lord have mercy. Trey, this what it says, Trey. Let me read it to Trey real quick.
Yeah, you gotta say that.
Changing a child's sex or birth certificate law has been changed and added to the Bill of Rights in New Jersey. It said parents or guardians can request to amend a minor's birth certificate to reflect the gender even before the child is born. The parent or guardian must complete a form affirming that the change is to conform a minor's legal gender to the gender identity chosen by the parents. That's what it says.
That's incredible.
So if your woman pregnant and it's a little girl, she can say, no, that's a boy. And when it come out on the birth certificate, it's going to say male.
Does it say if they need both parents, or does it say they just need
no, just the mother. You know that. They can't do it without the mamas. The mamas, and it's gonna be a whole bunch of them lined up. Yeah, bitch. Now I can make your son gay, ho.
Nah, that's incredible.
Yeah,
that's it. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know what, man? That's got to be some kind of parody shit, man. You reading it, you think it's real.
No, sir. I swear, I'm finna send it to you right now.
Yeah, please do.
Ooh.
Please do.
I see what you want. I see what you want today, BMU.
Yeah, man, I'm just tired of it, bro. Truth tellers get killed, but these sissies out here nothing happened to them. Nothing. The sissies can go outside. They can go in bathrooms. They can go in the bathroom with your little daughter. They can play sports with your children. I'm telling you, bro. I'm gonna say this and let y'all cook. I'm telling you, I went to my daughter's AAU game. And these three big niggas thought they was finna go out there and play against my baby girl. You crazy. I went out there in the middle of the floor, bro. And I stopped there. I said, my daughter not playing against no boys. And here come their parents. My daughter's is transition. That's not your daughter. That's a boy nigga. And I'm willing to whoop everybody's ass in this bitch today. Yeah, man, come on, man. We gotta stop this shit. And then the other parents come in and finally found out, and they shut them down. They made them boys go sit down. All three of they tall, damn near 5'11", 6-foot asses. Go sit the fuck down. What?
Unbelievable.
Unfortunately, that's what it's going to take.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's going to take.
No, man. That's cool. It's good, man. It's all right. Hey, listen, man. Go ahead, Trey. I was going to just play this little short clip about.
No, I was going to say, BMU. That's what it's going to take. I mean, that's where we are in our society, that if a man doesn't stand up and say this isn't happening, people are going to just let it happen. Like, they're not going to stop it. They're just going to let it happen. It's going to take for a man to say, hold on, what are you guys doing? This is wrong, or this is immoral, or whatever reason that they feel the need to stand up to actually do something. Outside of that, they're not going to really do much, man. Trump is trying to do as much as he can from a legislative standpoint to get things changed, but at the end of the day, it's always going to come down to the individuals, depending on where they're at.
Absolutely. All right, so here's where they say
real quick. I'm gonna say this real quick. Also, to Anissa and all the ladies that's watching, I'm gonna say this: y'all danced on this man's grave because 90% of the shit he was saying was true, but y'all danced on his grave. But I don't see none of y'all got a campaign running for all y'all uncles who live with your mama, who was fucking y'all when y'all was 12, 10, 11. I don't see you motherfuckers dancing on his grave who was sucking your titties while you was sleeping when you was 10, 11, 12, putting dick in you when you was 13 years old. And your mama said, don't you say nothing. What happened in this house, stay in this house. I don't see you dancing on niggas' graves. No, you was at the funeral crying over that bitch nigga. Uncle gone, Uncle putting that dick up in you. I don't see nobody talking about that though. I don't hear no shows about that. What the show is that about? The uncle that was molesting your little niece, and y'all didn't say nothing because your mama told you to shut the fuck up.
Black women don't like Charlie Kirk because he told them they shouldn't be given things. They never liked that. Charlie Kirk told them that you should be living on a meritocracy, and he was against DEI, and for the benefit of Black women. That's why they don't like him. And I find it to be quite interesting because anytime that something is taken away from Black women that's been given to them, they don't like that person. It's always about always about handouts. Yeah, it's always about a handout.
So my question is right now, are we talking about Black women right now because they have some pushback, but it was a white man who done this, and it was white people literally going to go trample his visuals and all that type of stuff like that. Like
it wasn't just white people. It was a Black woman that was arrested on the college, either today or yesterday. She was arrested.
Okay.
She was saying F Charlie Kirk. She was saying your boy is dead. He got shot in the head. And she wound up actually assaulting somebody that was there. She wound up getting arrested, and she's been kicked out of that institution. And she's not the only one. It's some Black women out here that are listen. I'm not surprised. Kobe died. They had words. Kevin Samuels died. They had words. I'm not shocked that this is where we are. It's not that bad. Hang on.
Well, Black women, and a lot of them have issues with men being men, masculine men.
I got it. I know that.
Hey, let's just play this little short clip about him talking about the
Our citizenry comes with a price. Wow. And that is part of liberty. Wow. Driving comes with a price. 50,000 people die on the road every year. Wow. That's a price. You get rid of driving, you'd have 50,000 less auto fatalities. But we have decided that the benefit of driving, speed, accessibility, mobility, having products, services, is worth the cost of 50,000 people dying on the road. Wow. So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. Right. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe.
Wow. So that is the thing that makes him a martyr for gun rights. That's exactly the thing that makes a man a martyr for gun rights. Right? I mean, he died with what he believed in. I mean, I don't call that karma. It's just one of the things that it's going to be, inextricably linked to him, right? That he said that. So listen, but he's right in general that you're on mute, Trey. Gun deaths are never going to go to zero. And I know all three of you, all of us up here, we all, I think, we might not admit it, but everybody owns a gun.
Absolutely, several.
But in that context, did anybody ask him, like, how do we get it down to zero? Or
when you listen to the political discussions, it depends on who you're talking to. They act like you can get it to zero.
I don't think I've never heard nobody say that you can get it to zero. I heard what I've heard people push back on is when some states don't want to make gun laws stricter, especially after like a Sandy Hook or last week a Evergreen here in Colorado after the whole Charlie Kirk situation. And then at my daughter's school, somebody took a BB gun and a real gun to my daughter's school last week. And so when people are asking about these gun laws being changed, it seems like some people are like, yo, like, well, we we want our guns, which is perfectly fine, because I think most of us own a pow here, you know what I'm saying? But it's just at the same time, it's like when people say, hey, like, can we get more stringent background checks, or can we do this, or can we do that? And it's like, well, nah, it's like almost like I think it's not like this technically, but it seems like it's nothing we can do to make gun laws stricter. But and then at the same time, it's like, but if it comes to black on, like, say, when people say black on black violence, well, black people are getting killed with guns every day, da, 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 da. And but it's like, but then when somebody take a gun to my daughter's school, it's like, oh, yeah, but those almost like, it almost seems like sometimes, like, damn, those are just kids. That's kind of what it seems like.
But hold on though. Okay, so listen, there'll be some people who think that the gun laws are strict enough. They just need to be enforced. That's one.
You talking about?
Wait, hold on.
I was just asking.
No, what do you mean? There's gun laws on the books everywhere.
Yeah, but they were asking for more.
Hold on now. That's not true. New York, New Jersey, gun laws are tougher than a lot of other places. It depends on where you are. In the South, the people are grown up with guns. But here's the kicker, though, and you know this: criminals don't give a shit about gun laws. Criminals don't care about gun laws.
Hold on, just a second. What, you done? Oh, I'm with you, finish.
Yeah, no, go ahead, man.
So I want to address Anissa, what Anissa just said. She said that's that Louisiana backward whole ass shit that happened to your family. Don't try to put that on other people. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen, because when smart dumb people say something, you got to check smart dumb people. Okay, so I pulled it up just right here. I pulled it up. It says 40% of juveniles in cases reported to the law enforcement, 34% of juvenile sexual abuse victims are victimized by a family member. Let me say it again, because since she didn't Google it, but see, she don't have to fuck with me. I'm gonna pull. I got it over here in my face, and I'm gonna put it up on the screen. I'm gonna put it up on the screen so we can read it together. 34% of molestation reported to the law enforcement. 34% of juvenile sexual abuse victims were victimized by a family member. And I'm finna pull it up. Because I need her
or
to see
somebody close.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up because she said it's only for poor people. See, that's Anissa got a little money and she done went crazy. So only poor people, nieces and nephews get molested. Only poor people. Jesus Christ, I'm telling you.
This is crazy, man. What kind? You had a bad batch of wine somewhere in there, man.
Yeah. Only poor people. Let me pull this up. Okay. Now I want y'all to read it because maybe I'm illiterate. Hold on. What does it say right there? According to rape, abuse, what does it say? The first one. According to Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, RAIN, basis of cases reported to law enforcement, 34% of juvenile sexual abuse victims were victimized by a family member. Suck a horse dick. Family member. You see it? It ain't no country back road shit. Family member. And if you think hard enough, Anissa, because you real pretty, you think hard enough, one of your uncles probably slapped you on the ass when you was 10. Back to our scheduled programming.
Oh man, listen. I tell you what, man. Listen, we could go. One of the things is that I have this segment on my channel. It says, "Let the women tell it." And sometimes men we talk to, we're blue in the face, but every so often you find a woman that says something that's worth listening to. And so I kind of capture those moments. And here's one talking about Charlie Kirk and the fact that she thinks it's crazy. And I got 3 of them, by the way, and I'm not going to pay them all, but where Yeah, let me just play it. Let me just play it. Because I like to have somebody else say shit besides just me. Yeah.
Acknowledged what he thought was problems in our communities. Charlie Kirk is dead and black people are mad at him. Why? Oh, I know. He acknowledged what he thought was problems in our communities and offered solutions. Hard work, fathers in a home, education. That's what y'all mad at. Somebody telling you to work hard, marry before having children, and take education seriously. We have lost the plot. We have really lost the plot, and I am extremely concerned about my people. Liberal ideology, Democrat ideology, baby mama culture, whatever you want to.
Okay, Trey, you said that's not what he said. That's not all that he said. Right? Can you hear me, Trey? I saw you write in the thing. This is not what he said.
Yes. That entire clip has been taken out of context. The entire thing. When he was talking about that, he was not talking that it's okay for people to die so that people can have guns so they can shoot each other. That's not.
Oh, you talking about in this? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was talking about her. All right.
No.
I misinterpreted. I thought you said you was listening to what she said.
You guys gotta stop listening to clips. If you're not gonna watch the entire thing, don't comment on a clip. You gotta watch the entire thing.
Yeah, but that's tough not to do. That's what people do. You see a clip, and you react to it. I get what you're
Then
saying.
I'm gonna call you
no,
stupid.
I get
I'm
what
gonna
you're
call you stupid and you're an idiot if you're going to formulate an entire opinion based off of a 20 second clip.
Isn't that what everybody did when Kevin
And
Samuels first
everybody's
told that
stupid.
girl?
And everybody's stupid.
Bro, okay, that's fine. I'm not gonna argue with you, bro.
There's nothing to argue.
I'm not gonna argue with you,
You're trying to make
No, I'm not, bro. I'm just saying. No, bro. I'm not, bro. I'm just saying, like everything in our culture now is short. You don't like people don't people don't really sit down and read books
And
like
we are
that no
dumber
more.
than we have ever been.
I said I'm not arguing with you
So why
about
are we
it.
still
I
talking
understand
about it
what
then?
you're saying, but I'm just saying
You
that
want to put this
now
point out so bad, but it's a stupid point.
it's not a stupid point, bro.
It
I'm just
is a
talking
stupid
about the
point.
facts. There's a difference between what we should do and what we do. Like what's really reality now? Like what's really reality? People
but
react to
sometimes
shit
we
all the
should
time that
challenge.
they people react to shit all the time that they didn't get full context to.
We should challenge. We should challenge shit. People doing that. Whether they correct themselves, that's another thing. But we should challenge that though. Should be challenged.
I didn't say that you shouldn't. I didn't say that you should.
They did the same. They do the same thing with police shootings. You see 5 to 10 seconds of the actual shooting, no context before, no context after. Oh, the police are wrong. Well, how do we know that? How do we know that? Can you watch the entire thing before you come to judgment? Before you make a decision? So
we about to watch this whole 9 minutes.
We should.
We about to watch this whole 9-minute video that Anton reacted to.
No,
you don't need to watch Anton's version of it.
I was just listening to what the sister was saying, and you heard what she said, and she made a point. I mean, she did like 2 minutes of it, and of course Anton takes out of 7. But it's something we know what she's saying, and she's absolutely right. Now, Charlie said more than just those few things, but I think that everything he said about the black community, whether it was right on point or not, people are getting on him because they don't want to see a white man saying anything about black people. And it's as simple as that. And that's not unique to Charlie, right? That's not unique to him. That's just the way it is.
That's not new. That's not unique to none of our communities, low key. Because if you talk about the LBGT people, they're gonna be like, "You're not a part of this community. Why are you talking about it? You talk about women's bodies. They're gonna say, "Why are you talking about women's bodies? Because you ain't a woman." That's just kind of like a part of everybody's community, huh?
Well, okay. So here's a point where I do want to talk about with Anton talking about, because I think I agree with him on some of this stuff, right? And I'm gonna share it with you in a minute. I just want to get it to the right spot because we're not going to listen to all of this. All right. Do I have it? Yeah, let me share this. And we could react to it after we look at this. Now,
every single one of my accounts hit 0 before I give in to these
now this guy outs people and gets them fired.
people. So if you want to try and affect me or affect my income by unfollowing me, I don't care. I would much rather go back to a 9-to-5 job and let this kind of shit slide. And I know for a fact that over half of this country agrees with what I'm doing. So hopefully they start finding me pretty soon. So go ahead and do your whole mass unfollowing and everything like that, because again, I would rather see all my accounts hit 0 than letting you guys try and bully me into not doing this anymore. And if you agree with what I'm doing, please hit that follow button.
So I'm conflicted over this because I don't necessarily agree with what's happening right now. And let me tell you why. I'm consistent and I'm objective. And I'm consistent enough to tell you exactly what my 3 rules are. My 3 main rules are: number 1, I never wish death on anybody that don't deserve it. So if you didn't kill somebody and they're not trying to, for example, defend themselves because you're breaking in their home or whatever, I'm not going to advocate for somebody dying for the sake of dying or because I don't like them, which basically feeds into the whole narrative of this whole Charlie Kirk thing, because I don't agree with the fact that a lot of these liberals and all of these people are saying this wild shit about a person and their death. If I don't like somebody and in their passing, especially if they have children and kids, I just don't talk about them because it's they're not here to defend themselves. So that's A. B, I never wish prison or jail on somebody just because I believe that everybody have their due process and they deserve their day in court, especially when you have to prove that they've done something guilty and innocent until proven guilty. And I rock out with that. And then number 3, I never, ever, ever wish for somebody to not be able to provide for their family. All right. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because on one side, I'm bothered by the idea that people are willing to say some of the nastiest, most egregious things and justify the whole idea that somebody killed a man, a father, a Christian, a person that was good for America, a genuinely good young man at 31 years old, and he had his whole life ahead of him, right? I think that these people are despicable, evil, and they don't play fair. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like a gloves off type of mentality, because it's hard to continue to turn the other cheek when these people are some of the most evil people in the world, and they will mass report and try to dox you all day long. But I still got to go back to my number 3. And my number 3 is that I never try to prevent people from being able to earn. And I don't believe in doxing. I don't believe on trying to find somebody's job. Don't believe in trying to get somebody fired at all. But then on the flip side, these people feel compelled to give their unsolicited opinion on an issue that nobody asked them their opinion on. And so they are very, very, very fervent in what they think. And then they try to delete the video later on, acting like they didn't say it. So on one hand,
What do y'all think about what he's saying there?
So you didn't get to watch my video yet, but that was the second part of my reaction. The first part of it was about a black woman. She was a black conservative, and she was talking about how she was telling people don't start crashing out over the Charlie Kirk thing, because if you start posting crazy stuff, you're gonna start getting fired. And then the second part of it, the end of the video, was this video. I didn't even know he reacted to it, but I have the exact same sentiment. I think that's dangerous. I can
I agree too.
understand disagreeing with people, or not liking that people was doing it. He's obviously an avid supporter of Charlie Kirk, and that's
Right.
perfectly fine. But when you're putting your face to something like that on video, boasting and bragging online about getting 75 people up to this point fired and calling their names out online and doing all of that. It's a dangerous job. That's a dangerous situation, because God forbid anything happens to this guy, this man right here, that exactly what it's about. Like, you stopped me from being able to provide for my family. You live in my city and I was able to touch you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the dangerous part about this, because I think that is just that is it's not, so it's not like an equivalent thing, right? As far as, okay, like they're
No,
talking about Charlie Kirk, but right, but then on the other side of it, it's like, bro, you stopped me from being able to take care of my family. I got like, my job didn't know about this or whatever. You called my job, you found out where I worked, you called, and then you put my name online. Like, now I gotta do something. And if somebody done something, like, everybody will be like, well, possibly people will be like, well, words don't, you can't be doing none of words. But it wasn't just your words, like your actions stopped me from being able to take care of my family.
well, but yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with the fact that I don't like the doxing situation. But remember, those people posted something on the internet that they have to know takes on a life of its own. You put something out there, it's they're the ones who opened themselves up to this guy.
And that's the same thing for him,
Yeah.
right? Because he put it
No,
out
no,
there
no,
and he put
no, no,
and he
hold on,
put
no.
his face
Wait a
to
minute.
it.
No, it's not the same thing, right? I mean, he willingly is doing this, right?
That's what I'm saying.
He seemed like he want the smoke, but the truth of the matter is, the people who come after him because they lost their job, ultimately they're responsible for giving him the ammunition. They're responsible
I'm
for
I'm
giving him the ammunition.
I'm not defending that action in no
And
sense.
that's why the best thing is to say, hey, listen, man, on this one, or maybe not even just Charlie Kirk, we got to be very judicious in what we say online, right? We just
Yeah,
do.
but yeah, and I agree, but I just don't think that right there is a way to go about it.
No,
That right
listen, I
there,
don't
I don't
disagree
think
with
that
you.
that's the way to go about it.
I don't disagree with you at all on that. I think he's wrong, and he's too gleeful about people losing their job. And you're right. He could get. I would imagine he's got a security team. He's got to. He's a big content creator, so he's paying some money for some security
I hope
and
so.
anonymity. He's probably trying to. He probably has some extra protections that hide him from being done.
He said he's losing some. He said he's losing subscribers,
Yeah,
like
but he
about a
doesn't care
thousand.
about the
So
subscribe. Yeah, but I
so
don't know
we'll
how many
see.
he has. He's a big one. I don't know. He might be a million. He might have 1 million subscribers. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, so that was that was this one. But here's the thing that I need to get to before, and we could discuss this. This is Charlie Kirk with a young man talking to a young guy, and I think this is the best thing out of this whole thing, because you'll see that the young guy has this. Oh man, it's a debate. This is him at a college debate, and you could tell that the guy is not ready for Charlie, because he's not on his level, and he still has certain things that gosh, man, can y'all see? Man, am I blacked out?
Yeah, it's blacked out.
Yeah, that's all right. It's me. I'm gonna fix it. Let me do this. All right. Yeah, let me see.
Give me your perspective.
All right.
Hey, I see this.
You saw this guy?
Yeah.
All right. Let me get it going. All right.
On DEI, and because based on what I heard earlier, I feel like you don't think I belong here.
Oh, really? Why?
How I am a black man, and because of DEI, I'm not qualified enough to be here. Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Then you belong.
But why do I have to prove that to you?
You don't. You brought it up. I didn't.
Okay, but can you explain to me your position on DEI?
Yes, people should not be in positions just because of the color of their skin. Hard stop.
Okay, but do you feel like I'm here because
I'm not feeling anything towards you, actually. I'm not prejudicing you. I'm not stereotyping you. I'm saying it's a material.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
No, you are. You said, I don't feel comfortable being here. You started with.
I didn't say I wasn't comfortable being here.
hold
I
on.
said I feel like you made it to where I got here through DEI.
So let's examine that. What have I said that makes you feel that way?
When you mentioned how DEI is only just putting people of color and marginalized groups in spaces, even if they're not so and so
Correct. That's exactly what DEI does.
But that's not all that it does. You're categorizing it as something it isn't.
No, that's exact. That is like that is the charter mission.
That's not all.
Okay, so diversity, equity. So equity is outcome based. Is about making people who are of different skin colors have the same outcome, regardless whether or not they are qualified. The best example we have of this is.
Hey guys, hold on for a second. I'm gonna cycle back in. Something happened to my thing. So hold on for a second. I'm gonna cycle right back in.
Why you quiet, Trey, man? What's up?
It's just, you know, when you have a conversation with someone,
I'm back.
You have to actually hear what they're saying. And to me, it's almost like if I come at you and I've already got a predisposed idea, that means I didn't hear a thing Champ Talk said. I didn't hear anything he said.
Yeah.
I'm going right at him for what you know what I mean? Like he came up there and he said, "You don't think I should be able to come?" He said, "No, that's not what I'm saying." He says, "Well, I think I should be here." He said, "Okay, then you should be here." Like, legitimately, the conversation is really pretty much over at that point. There's nothing else to talk about. You think he thinks that you shouldn't be here because of the color of your skin. He says, "No, you should be here." He said, "Do you think you deserve to be here?" He said, "Yeah, I deserve to be here." He said, "Okay, then you should be here." Like this idea that we absolutely have to back white people into a corner. Like I gotta get you in this corner, and I gotta get you to say that you know. Meanwhile, while saying I deserve a handout, I don't believe in DEI. I never been a fan of it. I believe in meritocracy. I believe in you get what you earn and what you work for. Now, can we say that it's unfair at times? Yes. Can we say that people get promoted when they probably shouldn't? Maybe they didn't do it? Yes. There is no perfect system. But let me tell you what system isn't perfect. DEI ain't perfect at all, especially considering that white women benefited the most per the numbers and statistics.
But let me also say, Trey, that we're starting to see the real imbalance about how a person debates. You can see a guy who's, you know, an expert at debating to a young man who hasn't been in this debate at all. And, you know, he can't see past his nose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and the conversation is a decent You said you saw it, Champ, or you saw it, both of you guys saw this one before?
Yeah, I seen some of it the other day while I was looking for videos to react to.
Well, let's listen to a little bit more of it, and then we could probably talk about it because we know where it's going.
The Students for Fair Admission, Harvard Supreme Court case, where black students, they could have a SAT score 300 points lesser than the Asian equivalent and still get into Harvard. That is DEI in practice. I believe when you're hiring for an organization or for a company or for whatever you are doing, you should prioritize merit and character, and race should mean nothing. We should build around things that matter and not things that don't matter.
Okay, but you have to also take into the fact that black people have only been able to completely legally be able to make profit for themselves for around 60 years.
Okay. Well, first of all, that's not true.
Hold on. Let him finish.
No. Since segregation ended in 1965 and the Equal Rights Act in 1965, so what you're talking, there's not.
How does that? So let's talk about you. How did that impact you? How did something that happened 60 years ago impact your life?
It impacts me all the time.
How?
What do you? Okay.
You're at Texas A&M. You're doing great.
Okay. Yes. Sure. Yeah.
So aren't you a living example that all that's a bunch of nonsense and you could just act good and behave well and succeed?
But there's also living examples of the exact opposite. If you look in the impoverished neighborhoods in certain parts of Chicago or St. Louis, there's black communities being thrown aside because they're not getting education.
Thrown aside? Okay, yes, so I think we can get somewhere. Why have the black community gotten poorer since the passage of the Civil Rights Act? Tell me that.
Because of the way the culture has been perpetuated through the
Hold on.
years.
Think about it. So they were richer when we were segregated and more racist. America's become less racist.
What about Tulsa?
I got an answer.
No one's
to
going
that
to defend
question.
what happened in Tulsa again. But let's talk.
Pause. I got an answer
Somebody
to that
say so.
question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got an answer to that question. Now, this is where Charlie Kirk and I disagree, wholeheartedly. I got
About
my
richer.
answer is, about getting richer, and the reason why the Black community has gotten poorer. They've gotten poorer because of the people he likes to defend, and he's allied with. The whoish community has preyed on the Black community, which is why the Black community has gotten less. This is where, like I said, I didn't always agree on everything he said. This is where him and I are miles apart, because he likes to prove this point of the Black community has all these other issues, which is why, but he conveniently leaves out that the small head community has literally been the number one cause as to why the Black community has not been able to sort of get over this wage hump, because they have indoctrinated the women. They have the music and media and TV and all the other stuff. They've input violence into the communities. They've input drugs. Like, they've done all types of things to make sure that there was no, there was no to get over. I don't agree with him on this particular. And I wish that this young man had gone that route.
He doesn't have the capability of doing that, though.
Yeah.
That's one. But the other thing, you're right there. I can agree with you there. But the other part is I don't agree with is because there are more Black millionaires now. Since the 60s, the Black community has become more bifurcated as well. The class divide between us, the haves and have not, just in the Black community, is huge.
But our Payne, wasn't that going to happen anyway? I mean, that's a result of capitalism, right? Because in essence, you have that in every demographic. Every demographic,
but in the Asian demographic, it exists, but it's less. In the Jewish demographic, it probably exists, but it's their people aren't spending too much time on the lower hand worrying about being victims. Right, I think that's part of it.
I see what you're saying. So in the other demographic, the bottom or the lower class focuses more on working their way up without the handout, whereas our community, I absolutely agree, there is a class divide, but what would be lower class, it looks more for the handout versus okay. Right. I see what you're saying.
So in those other communities, say, man, shit, I see what's going on there. And maybe my capabilities won't get me there, but I'm damn sure striving, right? But the other, we don't have to go over it. We have an issue of incessant inferiority and victimization in our community. And the problem is that Black people who have made it, too many of them, perpetuate that notion to poorer Blacks that you ain't going to make it unless this young man is being indoctrinated.
Unless we give it to you.
Right. And he's sitting in a seat of where the future's up to him.
Yeah, Texas A&M is not no slack in school. I mean,
he's right there.
Pretty good school.
We're going to come back to I thought this was a good little dialogue, and he just doesn't have the equipment to, and most guys his age won't have the equipment to debate, a guy like Charlie Kirk.
We're talking about a lot of different cities. We're talking about Chicago, Tulsa, but let's again, this is a very important point. Do you think the fact that 70% of Black youth don't have a dad around is probably pretty important?
That's because of the culture.
So respectfully allow me to interject. How does the white culture impact the fact whether or not a Black dad stays around when he impregnates a woman?
I'm not saying it's the white culture.
Oh, I would have ate his ass alive.
The culture that has been perpetuated through the 200 years of slavery.
What would you say to that?
Well, I would say that the Jewish community has invoked laws to make sure that the man was out of the house and entice the women by giving them assistance in order to get the men out the home. And so the white community is just as guilty for the 70% of Black men not being in there based on purely the laws that they enacted and the systems that they put in place. Now, I will say this. We didn't have to accept it. We did accept it. right? They put it out there. We could have just rejected it and said, no, that's not what we want. We'll stay married. Because that was the other option. The other option was, no, we'll get married and we'll stay married and we'll depend on each other. We didn't choose that. We chose the, zaddy government route instead. You know what I mean? Like we did have an option as a community. We just didn't take it.
That's right.
Segregation and Jim Crow laws.
The marriage. So I got to interject again. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt too much. But in 1960, before the Civil Rights Act, 20% of black youth had a dad around. Now I'm sorry, 20% were single fathers, 80% had a dad around. It's been inverted. So we actually have seen black dads run away from their kids the last 60 years. Why is that?
Because of the raised incarceration rates, because of the perpetuated culture.
So how does one go to jail?
That's obvious. I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, so maybe it's because they committed crimes.
Okay, but when you're forced it's not just this is old, this is in the past, this doesn't affect you anymore.
Okay, so actually let's take a different group. How did the Holocaust impact Jews? They're doing pretty well.
Well, because they got reparations.
How? What reparations?
He could have ate Charlie alive in this one if he wanted to. He just didn't have the.
He doesn't have. No, he doesn't have.
He just didn't have. He didn't have the background for this. I don't think he knew where to attack.
He's 18 or 19 years old. He don't.
The Jews get.
Say that. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying he didn't know where to attack in his argument. But Charlie was wide open. I mean, there's several. Because if it's me, I would have put it back on Charlie and would have said, well, what laws were implemented, right? What you know what I mean? Like I would have said, okay, what structures and policies were put in place so that black men worked in the homes, right? Was child support? How was child support arranged, right? You got a whole documentary that came out in 1986 called Disappearing Families, and those women in that documentary have been essentially brainwashed to want to be
single mothers.
To want to be single mothers, right? Yeah. And that wasn't black men doing that. Black men didn't say, "Hey, we want y'all to be single mothers." That was a system that was put in place to get them to go by. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but it's the truth. It's the truth. There's a lot of moving parts of it. Two things can be true. It can be true that the black community shot itself in the foot. We didn't help ourselves, but it can also be true that there was a lot of things happening behind the scenes to separate the black woman and the black man and dismantle the black family altogether.
Yeah, acknowledgement through money, through
we acknowledge slavery happened.
Okay, but you're sitting here and acting like it plays no role.
No. But to your argument, the Holocaust was 80 years ago. Half of all the Jews on the planet were killed. Everything they earned was taken. Jews are doing great. If all of a sudden something that happened 80 years ago impacts your material prosperity, how did Jews defy the curve? How did poor Asians do so well? Why is it that Asians are now the wealthiest minority in America? Many of whom came with no money in the 1950s or 60s.
Because of the culture and opportunities that were provided to them.
But you're not hearing me out. Black Americans have had the same opportunities. However,
people still look at us like criminals every day.
Hold on, but I don't look at you like a criminal.
I'm not saying you do. I'm saying some people do.
But I mean, do you want me to be brutally honest with you, or do you want me to be politically correct?
Brutally honest with you.
Okay. Do black people commit more crimes than white people? It's not even close.
Okay. But you have to take into account the culture that has been perpetuated.
Okay, got it. So we can agree on this. Do you mean internal black culture?
It's not. It's deeper than that. Like,
do you think? Let's take time out. Do you think the average rap artist that a black kid in the hood is listening to is glorifying marriage and family and saving your money?
That's what sells because it's a culture thing. It's not just within the black community.
I agree.
It's not just isolated.
It's bad for everyone.
What you say?
And he had him. He had him right there. All he had to say was, because he opened it up, he said, well, yeah, no, it's not perpetuated in our communities. And all he had to say was because the people you rock with made sure to not put it in the music, to make sure to not put it in the movies, to make sure to not put it on TV, to make, you know what I mean? Like this, there's an entire system in the media to make sure that all we saw growing up was, all I saw growing up in the 90s, I was born in 84, but my teenage years were in the 90s. Tupac, Biggie, East Coast, West Coast gang violence.
Right.
It was, MTV was littered with this. It was always on. It was always about, you know, gangsters and thugs and all of that. Like, it wasn't about, oh, you know, get married and have a family. But who owned Viacom, right? And who owned MTV, and who owned the music companies?
Right. Yeah. Who makes, you know, you got to make that deal with the devil if you want to get rich. And, you know, and you're not putting out love songs. You got to put out this bullshit, right? So, yeah.
One who listens to it. The point being is that Black youth, as they are being raised, their role models are largely not glorifying staying with one woman, getting married, going to church. And if you're wrong, show me the Black role models that are doing that. There might be a couple I could think of, maybe. But if it's about culture, you're right. The internal Black culture has collapsed the last 60 years. We're no longer elevating the family. We're no longer elevating staying with the person that you're with. So our contention here as conservatives is that the systemic racism stuff is a bunch of rubbish. Instead, it's systemic bad choices.
Do you feel that systemic racism isn't real?
Of course not. What can I do that you can't do? Name it.
Okay.
Well, he was more profound before, right? I mean, before we get to the racism thing, you know, people are making these choices around what they have, and the families don't want to stay together. He's right on that. I mean, you know, that's not a lie. That's just not a lie.
No, seriously. What can I do that you can't do?
Fallacy. That's a slippery slope.
No, it's not. Very simple. No, because back in 1940, you would have been able to answer that question. Well, Charlie, there's a bathroom over there that I can't go to. There's a major league team.
I can't walk into the grocery store and get the same looks that you do. I walked into Berkshire Brothers a couple of weeks ago when I was looked at.
That's an insanely hyper paranoid way of living life. That's not evidence, right?
It's a real example.
By the way, if I walk into a Black neighborhood, I get bad looks too. Okay, so I don't know what the contention is.
Because of the way you treat our culture.
You know, okay, man. So
you know what I would have said, Payne? I would have said alone. You can get along that I can't. I would have said alone. You can get along that I can't get.
Right. I mean, okay. So you can see the disparity and you know, disparity in the way they, where he's at. He can't compete with him, but still, it doesn't negate what my man is saying. The point really is that this guy can't defend himself, because there are some points he could be making, but for the most part, he's just sticking on the young man is just sticking on the fact that we're a perpetual victim. Well, I mean, here's my thing, though. All right. So let me ask you, I don't know if we have to see too much more of this. I mean, what's the remedy that we think white man can give us? What's the remedy?
I don't know. That's why I've said it. You've heard me say this. I've been saying it all week. You know, what does the Black community want?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want?
Because I don't say reparations, right? But that's not that. It gets deeper than that, right? What do you want the white man to do?
But even with reparations, that doesn't fix the problem.
No, absolutely not. So that's why I'm saying.
Yeah. So, like, what do you want?
What's the remedy?
The remedy is, as I see it, the remedy is that we have to pull ourselves up. We got to do this on our own. This idea that, because here's the thing, anything that community is going to give you, it's going to be backloaded with something. That's just not how they operate.
It's a Faustian deal. They're going to get that. At the end of that deal is something that's going to hurt you.
It's going to hurt you in the end. It's going to benefit them, because that's the way they play the game. Exactly. So if you don't understand, that's why I keep saying reparations is a bad idea, because you don't. They would, trust me, they would love to give Black people billions, trillions of dollars right now, because they know the way we spend money, they're gonna get it right back.
Yeah, right.
Like, they'll get it right back.
Get it right. Nice and neatly laundered. Nice and neatly laundered.
They just got clean. They just got clean tax-free money. Is what they just got.
Yeah, but here's the remedy, though. The remedy. This is where I was gonna get. We don't have to see too much more. It's the same thing back and forth. This young man himself is the remedy. He's the remedy. He's the remedy for the future.
Facts.
You're right there with all the people you say are. You know, you go to class just like they do. You succeed. And you become a beacon for your family going forward. Now, if you got cousins your age, and you got siblings your age, and they're only you guys are the remedy, right? And just the notion that you're generations behind the white man, there's nothing you could do about that except start your generation with you. You know, I mean, that's what that is. That's the answer. Hell with that shit, man. What else do you want them to do?
Yeah, the fact is that they have a head start. It was designed that way from the moment them boats pulled up on the shores of Africa.
And
it is what it is.
You got to get over that shit. This guy has the opportunity to, if he's in A&M, I don't know how he's getting this shit paid, or if it's scholarship or whatever. He's got an opportunity to change the trajectory of his family in the future.
Yeah, A&M is an agriculture and mechanical school, right? Like an engineering school, right?
Right.
Yeah, you're going to one of the best schools in the country, bro. Like,
yeah, man. And see, now you can see it. Here's my problem. His mindset is holding him back. His mind, forget what he's saying to Charlie. He believes what he's saying. He thinks
that's because he's been indoctrinated. That's the indoctrination.
Right. And this indoctrination is not, we can't just blame this on A&M. He came to school that way.
His mama taught him.
Yeah, he came to school that way. Yo. And so my thing is, that's all I can say is that and it's so hard to talk to other Black people about, if you're living and breathing and you have somewhat of a success, then you're the remedy. Right? I mean, this guy's wearing a pass around his neck like an albatross. What you wearing that shit for, man? Hand it off, man. You know what? And look towards the future. And I don't think nobody's telling them that. And this is where Charlie's trying to tell him that, but he ain't going to take that from a white man. He's not going to say that. Therein lies the problem. They want to hear a white man preach to him.
I was going to say it's almost some sort of like weird reverse racism, like because he's saying it, like they don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't go to.
So what are you saying? So is that why? Who wants to take us back?
Take us back where? I'm not having no conversation with them.
I mean, listen. All I'm saying is Charlie tried to get across the point to this, the point across to this guy. You're in A&M with all the white people you think that's holding you back. You got an opportunity. When I was in engineering school, and I used to say, listen, when I got out of there, I said to myself, I had to take the same test that every other white person in my class had to take. I had to pass those. There were no nigger points. I had to pass all of those tests. When I got my degree, it didn't say, University of Buffalo, School of Engineering, Chemical Engineering, the nigger version. It didn't say that. It's the same degree as the guy who was the valedictorian and mine somewhere in the middle there. You know what I'm saying? You
mean to tell me your diploma didn't have a red, black, and green?
It had the stripe on it and say, with the YN on the corner. It didn't have a YN on the corner. I mean, so that's the point. This guy has an opportunity. Now, for me, I have my cousin who was a graduate. He was older than he was a college graduate. And then for some reason, he volunteered to go to Vietnam, destroyed everybody in the family. He was blessed enough to leave alive because he was the first one to graduate out of college. Then everybody, we got a whole bunch of college grads in my family now, but the point really is, you're the future. And he can't see it. And that's what we have to do. That's why I tell my daughters, I said, listen, man, I know you guys have this indoctrination bullshit, but nobody gave y'all anything. Nobody gave y'all, stop it. Just stop.
But furthermore, why would you, because this is a conversation I have with my son, why would you want it? Like what type of, as a man, I don't want a handout. Exactly. I don't want it. I don't want it. I would much rather for you to tell me it's impossible for you to do, Trey. And then, then let me fail. Let me see if I can get it done.
Right.
I could never come from, and again, I grew up in the hood, but my mom, we weren't on assistance. So maybe that's where my mindset came from. My mom refused to take it. She refused to be the mother that was on government assistance. I imagine she could have got it. Because I remember asking, why don't I get school lunches like all the other kids? Why do I have to pack my lunch every day?
Right.
And we all coming from the same neighborhood, but I got a lunchbox, and the kids getting a pizza and apple every day from the school lunch. And my mother said, "Oh, you don't get free lunch." And I'm like, "How do I not get free lunch? I got on Payless shoes." You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just because the mentality was, we're not taking a handout. We're not taking handouts. And my mom did exceptionally well. She wound up buying a house for us. You know what I mean? Like her, she didn't graduate from Howard, but she went to Howard. She didn't graduate, and she kind of pulled herself up. You know what I mean? From bootstraps to make it up to becoming a manager.
Yeah,
and all that. She works for nonprofits, but to be able to run their donations, like, I guess it's the way I see it. So I don't come from this idea of, well, you should just give it to me because, well, you know what y'all did to our people. You know what I mean? It's like
those days, those shit ain't happening, man. I told people, man, that's what I'm saying. This is, we're all informed by what happened to us in the past. I told people, I asked this question. I don't think he was around when it was Uncle Jeff and everybody was on the line. I said, I asked anybody, have any of you guys ever been on a welfare line? And I said, I have. I was on that shit. That line was at least 3-5 projects long. Like the whole, we had, and it was, my grandmother found me somehow she found me, asked me. I was devastated. I might have been 8 to 9. I mean, we had the song about people on welfare and all that shit. I used to sing it to the heavens just like everybody else. And I would find myself on a line. I was on a line to get that fucking peanut butter that had the oil on it. You probably in a big tin can. You open that shit, you can't close it because it's like a big tin can of peanut butter with this much oil on the top. And if you try to spread that shit on white bread, it would chew the bread up. It was just horrible. The cheese didn't melt. I mean, you had to have it on like 800 Fahrenheit for the cheese to melt, and it was like a brick of salt, and it had. And somehow my grandmother got a stipend, so she filled up the whole thing with all kinds of rice, a pound of rice, and of course I had to be the one to drag it back. I mean, these things inform you. I said, man, I never was on that shit again, right? I acted so behaved. I was so devastated. They never asked me this. Like, look, don't take the retarded guy back with you. Find somebody else.
I don't know. I guess too much self-respect and too much pride to take to even when I was in the military, it was, you can come work on this unit or you can come do this, come do that. And it was like, no, there's more deserving people. Like, I don't deserve it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but don't get me wrong. Look, there's a level.
Some people need it. Yeah, some people need it.
There's a level of networking that comes with certain things where people get placed in certain places because they know people. Nepotism is a real thing. I'm not arguing those things, but I don't know. For me, my question will always be to the Black community: why do you want a handout? Why would you want to take a handout? Because there is no way in the world anybody handing you anything is not expecting something in return.
Yeah, that's one. And and it's been so many years of that, like you said. Once you've been given so many things, once it's starting to be taken away, and your way of life and your expectations changing, and it's impacting the women. It's going to impact the women the most. Because nobody.
Yeah, I watched the chick crash out in the Walmart because I guess she couldn't buy certain things. She couldn't get certain things. And it wasn't, so I guess the way they do it, I don't know where they do it elsewhere, but like she was like, they were ringing it up, but it wouldn't it wouldn't even like go on. It wouldn't even go on the thing.
No choice. You had no choice.
Yeah, it's like it wouldn't even register or whatever. And she was telling the girl, like, do it again. And the girl's it's a young girl too. She probably was like 17. And she was telling her like you can't get this. Like, basically she's trying to be nice, like, you can't get this. And she's like, yes, I can. And come to find out she was an EBT, car holder or whatever. And the manager came over and was like, Trump put some things in place and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And the girl literally started crashing out. Because how they have like the little candy stuff behind them in the aisle. Literally starts like tearing the stuff down, like off the aisle. She was mad. And I'm just like, but that's because you got to a point like you shouldn't even have been there. I could tell you guys a story about a woman that I met 3 generations of a family that were in public housing. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
3 generations. And I'm just like, do you realize that they this is control? And I love it because these be the same women that talking about, oh, we independent. These same people, oh, we independent. No, you're not.
No, you're
they
not.
own you. They own you.
It's bad. So I don't know where else to go with this other than to say, Charlie's a guy who okay, let's forget about the fact that he's talking to this young man. He talked to white kids, he talked to all kinds of kids. This kind of stuff I think is benign. Right? This stuff is important. I mean, him talking to these young kids is really not, it's hard to be mad at this part of it. Maybe his podcast where he sits down and talk about this and that and the other thing. But when he went around college campuses and there's thousands of kids listening to him and arguing, debating him, they ain't like they all were there just to agree with him. That's some powerful shit. Right? And there's other guys trying to imitate that, right? What's my man, Myron from Fresh and Fits trying to get his shit going? He's trying to do that, as a very small, but he gets a little bit of crowd, but he ain't like this. But people are seeing that format and trying to challenge you. I think you're frozen there, Trey. You might have to cycle in. But anyway, I just wanted to, I don't know, man, BMU had me ready for this guy to come up and we were going to argue back and forth. I was glad that Champ came up, but there's really nothing to argue for because I'm not going to try to defend Charlie Kirk for the people who don't like him. I just don't think he should have died for his beliefs. That's my problem. I just don't think that if the country decomposes degrades into killing people because of what they believe, we're in deep trouble. And if black people try to keep putting themselves in the middle of all of this shit, we're in more deep trouble. I mean, I don't think people know they don't want the smoke from these white folks, man. They don't really want that, I don't think you want folk. I don't think you really want that smoke from a whole bunch of crazy white folks once they get going.
Yeah, I guess I see it a little bit differently.
Okay, tell me how you see it.
I don't think he was murdered for his beliefs. I think that was a part of it.
Okay.
I think he has a way of galvanizing, and especially young men. And from what I can see based on the history of this country, anytime any man, regardless of color, is able to galvanize men.
Okay.
I think there's an entity that says you have to be taken out. Right. So we can look at lately, right, whether you like him or not or agree with him, Andrew Tate was galvanizing young men.
Right.
And all of a sudden, all these women are coming up with these crazy, insane, false stories, right? To keep him, it's like to remove him.
Right.
We can go back to Martin Luther King. We can go back to Malcolm X. Anytime we start to see a man.
Well, that sounds close. All right. So
he
was hitting the court with men, young men, white men.
Because you have to remember, he was extremely instrumental in getting young voters to vote conservative.
Right, he was.
He was very instrumental in this. So I think
he was.
And a lot of, if you go down the conspiracy theory, rabbit hole, he was starting to disagree with some of the Israel things. He was.
He was. There
was some people trying to give him money, and he was starting to challenge them and question them. Right. And so there's one phrase, and I'll end here. I think there's one phrase that when they get to this point, there's a decision. I don't know who it is, the tribunal that makes this decision exactly. But once they get to a point where they feel like that's too much power for one man to have,
right?
Like the tribunal sort of like makes a decision, like, all right,
the star changing.
Yeah, it's time to put some things in motion. You know what I mean? To get because that's extreme. You got to think about that, Payne. It's extremely powerful to have hundreds, thousands of men.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Literally at your back and call. I remember in the Malcolm X movie, and I know it didn't happen this way, but I just always sticks out to me in the Malcolm X movie where Denzel Malcolm X, he stands up like he does like this, and then he does like that. He does like that, and then they turn, and like you can see people like, oh, that's scary. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's scary. That's really scary. And so I think when you start to look at what Charlie Kirk was able to do, even though he was going on to colleges to debate them,
right?
There were also people he was converting too.
Right. Yes, he was.
That was starting to, okay, you know what? That actually does make a lot more sense. And that's extremely powerful.
I mean, but the fact that he had whatever modicum of security he had, but he had no idea that he was on somebody's hit list like that. Because
No, not like that.
Where the guy got him from would be one of the first places they would cover. Right? Where that guy was perched with that clip, I know some people said that was an amateur shot, man, but that's a decent shot, man.
Yeah.
From where he took it. Now he might not have meant to hit him in the neck, but it was effective.
I mean, he did the job. The mission was complete. So.
So I don't know, man. Thanks for coming up. I don't really have much more. I just wanted to.
I'll see you.
Huh? Yeah, take it easy, man. Thanks for coming up, man. All right. All right, everybody. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Yeah, man. So yeah, I just want to. This was. We didn't have the fireworks that BMU wanted to have, but that's cool because that's not what I wanted to do. I think black folks, we don't need to be in the middle of every goddamn thing that happens. It's not always about us. It's not. I mean, this one we could have had a nap on. Let the white people ferret this shit out. And then, listen, we just say, oh, man, Charlie Kirk, he has some things going on. He said a few things about blacks we didn't like. Okay, please. But, everything ain't about him. It's just not. That young man that he was, that young man that he was talking to, he's the one who needs us. He's the one who needs to say, listen, man, you got an opportunity to be great. What the fuck you talking about slavery for? We know what happened. We know about Jim Crow. We know about redlining. We know about all that shit's happening. But you know what? You made it to college. What are you going to do about it? What does your future look like? You want to get married? You want to have a girl? You want to have kids? How are you going to train them? You're going to teach them all about the past? I mean, you're going to sit down with them and talk about slavery? Or you're going to sit down and talk about how we're going to plan for the future? What you're going to do with your family? Here's a book. This is what happened in slavery. Okay, now I did it. Okay, let's watch Roots together. All right, bet. Now, how much more do you need to know? So listen, man. The future is bright for you young people, man. Don't waste that shit looking backwards, man. The rear view mirror is not used for staring. It's not. Anyway, thanks for everybody. And Nissa, you know what? I don't know why you don't come up anymore with your wine and all that kind of stuff and say what you say verbally. Maybe you might get a point or two out better than maybe doing writing. But everybody else who stopped by, appreciate it. Hit the like button on the way out. Thanks, BMU, for your interjection. The guy who you thought wanted to have smoke, obviously he didn't want to have any smoke. And that's cool. Champ, thanks for showing up. And so same with you, Trey. And with that, man, we're going to say good night. And I'm going to go and I'm going to get me some brew to celebrate the fact that my blood test was as good as it was in a long time. Anyway, everybody, Black Man Unfiltered Network, Payne, over and out.